Hey guys, continuing on with our deadlift, we're actually up to doing the lift. The reason we spend so much time going through that setup is because if you get that right, it makes this a hell of a lot easier. Same as the bench press. If you're not in a great position to start, it's very difficult to adjust during. So the deadlift is very similar. I would argue even harder because you don't have an eccentric to kind of wiggle and find your space. You either get it or you don't really know until you pick that bar up off the floor if it's anything heavy. So we're going to go through our same setup. Shoulder width hip, 2 inches away from the bar, depending on who you are. Hamstrings, heels, get that little tuck, get my abs, go down, get to here. Now the problem is when a lot of people get there, they build all this tension, this great tension, and then when they get there, they do silly things like try and jerk it off the ground, try and lead with their chest really hard, anything like that, that really kind of takes all that tension that you've just worked really hard to build and just throw it out the window. And then you end up grinding out a deadlift or a back hinge almost it's pretty ugly. So what we really want to do is find that tension, build that tension, and then here, what we're really aiming to do is I get people to concentrate on pushing the ground away with through their midfoot, as if it's a leg press. It just keeps people's hips down. If I find if we aim just people to stand up, that sometimes people will really try and lead with their chest, or that they shoot their hips up and try and squat it. Many different ways to stuff it up, but I find that cure pushing through the ground allows people to keep their hips in a better position and allows them to not worry about so much what their upper body's doing. Remember, if our upper body's already preset with the lat tension and with the abs, all we really need to do with the upper back at that point is just to hold on and let the legs, and in particular our hamstrings, glutes, our hip hinge muscles, to come through and lock out for us. So we're going to come down, build that lat tension. As soon as you build those lat tension and a little bit of pressure into the floor, you should feel that slack out of the bar. You'll hear people talk about pull the slack out of the bar. That's what they're referring to. It doesn't need to be super complicated, like you need to actually pull. But we're going to get here, build tension, and then from here I'm going to push the ground away and try and get shoulders and hips to rise somewhat equally, straightening the knee, and then I'm going to come through and bring my hips to the bar. So the first part of the lift looks like and then at the top, once I pass my knees, I like to cue people to bring their hips forward or to tuck their hips forward. Whatever helps you achieve, bring your hips to the bar without using a whole lot of back extension. That's a really easy mistake to avoid. It's going to make you weaker really in the long run, but it's also going to lead to potentially some injuries. So what we want to do instead is here, and then from here bring our hips to the bar, just like this. This is your end position, which is kind of your start position. If you're here, you've stuffed up, you're hinging from your back rather than your hips, and you've just gone a little bit further. Like, you don't need to, if you're finished here, why go here? There's no point. The rules state that we only need to be locked out here, so there's no point going back here and causing potential injury. If you want to know any more, shoot us an email.